To create your first lesson, let's first head to the content link in the nav bar. This is going to open up a blank space where you can post units and lessons and attach curriculum expectations, should you wish to do that. The first thing you'll have to do is select New Unit. This is going to create a folder for you where you can start organizing your files. Maybe you want to call it Unit 1, Safety, depending on the type of class you're in. So we'll select Save there, and I want you to notice here that right now it has an eyeball with a slash through it, and that means that this is hidden from students. So if students are in this course, they will not be able to see because this is hidden. To make it visible, we simply, when we're clicked on this unit, we can just tap this little button and it makes it now visible. So we can create multiple units. We'll call this one Unit 2. We can select Save. Again, you can make it visible or hidden. Now you do not have to put a description inside here, but if you'd like to, when you're on the unit, you can come over here to the 3 dots and select that, and then select Edit. Down below, you can put in a description. This is a description. Now you can use the same type of editor that we had in the announcements tool so that you can familiarize, if you're familiar with that. And notice the description just shows underneath here. Now, you do not want to actually put in the lesson content in here because that will not be available to students using devices like a phone if they're using the Brightspace Pulse app. So what I would suggest then is underneath this unit, you can create new or you can add existing. Depending on how you want to structure your files, I would suggest creating new and then creating another subfolder for whichever lesson you're on. So I'm going to suggest going New Lesson, and you can go, this will be Lesson 1. Maybe you want to title it Monday, September 14th. Again, you can put in a description for that if you'd like. Click Save, and then notice again, we have this that's hidden. I can make it visible, and now we have this lesson folder, which you can see the title of and the description of. But again, this is not actually where I would be posting the actual lesson itself. This now is a folder that anything underneath that lesson that I want to add in, that's where I'm going to add them in. So the first thing you may want to do is select Add Existing. So if I add existing, this is going to allow you to load up files from maybe OneDrive or from files that are on your computer. Now, I personally like adding files from my computer, so I'll show you right now. If I open up this document, this Word document, then it's going to put this in and allow students to view it directly in this space right here. Okay, so once that file loads in, it will be able to be previewed here. Now, while that's loading in, I'm just going to click back on this lesson and add another file through my OneDrive. Now, because it already exists in OneDrive, that's why I'm going to select Add Existing. So I'll select Add Existing, and then I'll select OneDrive. Now, this is going to allow me to go into my OneDrive. It will sign me in, and then I'll be able to access all of the files that are in my OneDrive and all of my folders. I'll just load up this document right here, and it will insert a link to that OneDrive file. Students will not be able to view this inside the browser space right here. They'll have to go outside to go to the OneDrive file. So for example, when I loaded in this document here, you can see it opens up directly in the browser and students can go through it. Okay, this is a 23-page document that when I loaded it up as a Word document, it changed it into a PDF and students can view it in browser right here. This OneDrive file, if I click on it, notice I have to select Go to OneDrive, and then that's going to bring them out to this file that is found in OneDrive. Okay, so in terms of the student experience, I would much rather have this, where they actually view the file here, as opposed to viewing it here and then going to OneDrive, but that's totally up to you. Now that's how you can add in files that you may already have. So that could be PowerPoint files as well. It could be other things. What you could then do is you could also look at the other type of existing activities you could load in. So notice if you have Google Drive, you could load in from Google Drive, or if there's already existing assignments, discussions, quizzes, you can load those in. But we'll cover that at a later time. Okay, so primarily I would suggest using the OneDrive, or most importantly, the drag and drop or browse, so you can browse the files on your computer and upload them from your computer. That's how I would use the add existing. Now, if you want to create a new file, you can do that using the create new. So again, I'm still under lesson number 1 because that's where I want to put all these different files. But if I did want to create a new lesson, I would want to make sure that I click on the unit where I want the lesson, and I'm going to create new again, and a new lesson, and we'll call this one lesson 2. Select save, and you can see now this lesson is underneath this. It basically acts just like a folder. So I click on lesson 1 folder, I see the files within that folder. Lesson 2 folder, there's no files in there yet. So I'm clicked on lesson 2, and now I'm going to create a new file. And there's a couple different options here. Again, you can see you can do assignment, discussion, or quiz, checklist. The 2 that I want to focus on are the HTML document and the web link. When you select HTML document, this is going to look very familiar. It's going to allow you to create almost like a Word document inside here that you can edit. So you can type inside here, and when I save this, notice it's just going to give me whatever I typed in. And if I were to insert some images and some links, they would show directly in there. Notice it loads it in very similarly as these files up here. It's just called whatever I gave the title of. So the title is HTML document, and that's why it's called that there. So now, if I go in, I can edit this just by selecting. So if I'm on the HTML document, I can select the 3 dots and then select edit. This is actually the big benefit to using HTML documents, because I can edit this right inside my Brightspace browser. Okay, what I can't do, I cannot edit this gradebook guide. I would have to go into my computer documents, change the file, and then re-upload it. Same thing with my OneDrive file. I'd have to go into OneDrive and edit that file in order to access it. These HTML documents, though, they are editable, and so anything you add inside here is going to be able to be changed whenever you want. So if you're starting on it and you want to continue adding to it, it's very easy to develop. Again, notice you have this bar that has the bold, italics, underline. You can also insert images. If you select the camera, you can load those in from my computer. And I'll select upload, and I'll just find a quick image here that I can add in. And if I need to put an alternative text for screen readers, I can. However, this one I'm just going to put this image as decorative. And you can see that there is an icon that I brought in. I can click on it to resize it, just because I don't want it to be that large. Okay, good. And then now I have these same other options. So I've got the add a picture. I've got, this is insert stuff. So the same type of options as there was in the announcements. I can load in a file. I can load in a link, or I can load in a YouTube video from that link, right? Same type of thing. If I paste that URL in and insert it, it goes directly inside. Then I can select save, and that document now will be there. Now, obviously, what you would be doing if you're putting something in is typing a little bit more paragraph text and explanations of what it is that they're actually going to be doing, putting in videos, putting in images as needed, and so on. Now, from there, if you wanted to create another HTML document, you could, right? You just hover over lesson 2, create new, and create HTML document. And then there would be another document inside that folder, right? So you can put as many documents as you'd like inside these lessons or the folders, but you don't necessarily need to use lessons or folders inside here. Some people, what they've done is, instead of using kind of the subfolder models, is they're just going from unit 2, and then they're saying, all right, well, I'm just going to create a new HTML document, and this will be day 1 and day 1's work, right? So whatever you put inside here, that's what will show for students. They would come to this unit and just click on the day, and then they would create a new HTML file and create that, right? Day 2, and so on. So whenever you're ready to start kind of creating your own files, this would probably be the best way of doing it, either one of these two ways where you have a unit folder and then a subfolder and then some files underneath if you're working with multiple files, or if you're only working with one file every day, then you could just go day 1, day 2, day 3, and so on. And these are empty because I haven't put anything in them. Now, one other thing you can add when you go to create new is if you create new and then go web link, you can actually paste in a link anywhere. So I'm just going to keep pasting the same YouTube video. And this is my YouTube video. And I can then just leave this embed on the page iframe, and I'll select save. And what you'll notice now is that this video is just loaded in directly in, almost like an HTML page. So it's not embedded inside a little bit smaller, right? It's actually its own page right here. So that's kind of useful if you're loading in links. I can do a second one if we want to go to the publicboard.ca website. I'll go to web link and type in, what is it? Yeah. Publicboard.ca, and I'll say publicboard, and I'll select save. Sometimes it'll say it won't be able to be embedded, and that's okay. You just select open in a new tab and then save. And then what would end up happening is the link itself is going to prompt you to open that link. When you click open link, it will bring you out to that page. So it really depends on what you're looking to do, but I would suggest if you're going to try and keep everything concise, you could just create one HTML file here and then embed those different videos in, similar to how we did up here, or sorry, up in lesson number 2. So that HTML document, if there's videos you need, you put in the videos through that insert link inside there. Okay, but that's how you can create your lessons. So if you're creating your first lesson, remember you have to create a new unit, and then you also then could either create a folder or a lesson that has your different files in it for that day's lesson, or you could do it where you're just attaching or creating a new HTML file, and then everything works inside of that document there. Remember, the HTML files are always editable by you and visible by your students as long as they're not hidden. So if I have that as hidden, then the whole unit will be hidden. If I have that as visible, now that's visible to all of my students.